great.
Right.
So let's get this started. Hello, YouTubers. This is a special session where my brother Mabrouk here with Gosh, I love your background. What's going on there? My brother Mabrouk here. He's a senior engineer from Germany. He has a lot of experience and he loves to have fun with software. And one of the things that I had my first interaction with Mabrouk is that he decided that he wanted to um, basically we have a library called exceptions, and what this library does, it wraps the entity framework and translates the DB update exceptions into more meaningful exceptions that come out of the database. It simplifies the process. And he introduced a whole new change to he basically added, is it MySQL, Mabrouk, right? He added
Yeah.
MySQL integration. But this session is about something else. This brother just reached out to me. He said, "Let me show you something cool." I said, "Let's show the world something cool." And I saw the video and I was outside and I was like, "Let me drop everything in my hand and run right back home just to see what this is all about. People need to see this." So, Mabruk,
Mm.
what are you going to show us today? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Something special. No, sorry. The idea is to make like um, a template project for what we are doing,
Yeah,
and I tried to write a proof of concept.
proof of concept.
It
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some ugly code, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
okay.
works. Yeah.
That's
Can
that's the
I?
whole point of POCs. They're supposed to be
Exact.
ugly.
Yeah.
Go.
How can I share my screen? Hide
Yeah, you
them.
just click share and I will
Yeah.
authorize it.
hmm
Go for it.
And I'll choose this screen.
So you
So
are building templates. Okay, I'm gonna ask you one tiny favor. Go to your
mhm,
desktop and make the display 150% because people who watch this on their phones, they can't see that small font.
okay.
Yeah, so go back to desktop.
Yeah,
Um,
I will do it. I have
oh,
now on screen.
oh, if you look, I think it's Windows D. Try Windows D. Oh, that works too. That works too. So you see
uh,
how it says, wow, this is German. I have no idea what's on the screen. But just
100.
make it 150 because we want it to be more
Okay.
readable, right? Let's see. What do you understand this? What is it saying?
Sure, I understand. Uh, it doesn't react somehow.
Is
Some
it
applications. How is
oh,
it looks? Nothing
I,
changes.
I don't think
Uh,
anything.
Wait. The main screen was changed. I would try to move to share with them this,
I, I
right?
I think it's okay. I think it's all right. Let's just move on from that. So just play it first. Let's run it and see. Man, you
Okay.
really like beautiful things. Even your background. This looks like Greece.
Yeah,
Greece.
flowers.
So what is
So
what is this thing that you built? What does it do? Go ahead. Go
this
ahead.
is an extension for Visual Studio. So sorry, my German is also speaking sometime.
No worries.
And let's start it. Let's start it. Let let's
So
let's
this
start.
is what you just built. This is a Visual Studio extension.
Extension, yes, to to make for scaffolding for models in our in project.
Uh-huh. So so
And
so
now,
so so this basically is you basically created a Visual Studio extension
yes,
to create scaffolding.
exactly.
So you
And
you
we
just you just you just added on top of Visual Studio a capability that will generate code for us, right?
exactly.
Okay. All right. And what kind of code is it generating? Like what's is this a standard, code? Is that what you're like the generating the models and the services and all of that kind of stuff? Oh man, that's crazy.
Exactly. This is the idea. I
Okay.
will delete this folder. So
Okay.
there is a check if this model folder exists, but
Yeah.
I want to delete all of this. This was for my last test. So you have empty project. You click here, add standard model.
At the
Oh, I have
standard
screen.
model. Okay.
Yeah, here.
And then it pops
And
up. Oh my God.
and
Okay.
you say user, for example, or any let's
Yeah,
see
let's say
rule.
that's the model, right?
Yeah, here it should be exceptions, add exceptions instead
Okay,
of
not extensions,
extensions.
exceptions.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. And if
and
you
this
click
pop,
generate,
and you have a
nice.
exceptions rule, so you can add also some default properties like ID, and here you have your exceptions. You can program them.
Nice.
You can also integrate some packages, and we can add services. We can add brokers. We can add unit tests also.
Everything.
We can do everything, and this will
Wow.
just simplify our work.
This is the automation stage. This is the
Yeah,
automaton. You
yeah.
know, there's been a couple of people that reached out to me. I'll try to bring in Brian Parker. He's trying to do something like very similar to that as well. What does it take to build an extension like that? What does it look like?
I show you it.
Okay.
It's you have some comments you need to write,
Okay.
and it's very simple. It's easy to
Hmm.
do this,
Hmm.
and you have view,
Nice.
and that's it. That's it.
That's how you design this
Yeah,
view window. Oh
YAML.
man.
Yeah, it's very easy, very simple. You design your what you want to have in this screen to help user to maybe you can choose if you want to generate exceptions or not, or generate services.
Nice.
Amazing.
Out of the box.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just out of the
and
box.
and I created this repo here.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
empty.
Hmm.
And here I want to create the templates, many templates. We can also create for APIs
Like
for web,
controllers. Yeah.
for desktop,
For UI,
and
everything.
everything. Unit tests.
Man, this
Yeah,
is perfect. I
yeah,
love it. You could technically generate an entire foundation service for a particular model. I
yeah.
I, I guess Mabrouk, the only thing that I would be this probably what makes some other attempts, a little bit more interesting. Uh, let's go back here. So I have a couple of questions for you. So number one, if you generate tests and generate code,
Hmm.
is there a way you can tell based on the type in the property in the model? Like for instance, it's a GUID, so you need to validate for GUID and strings and integers, right? So I think it's a great start, but you and I need to kind of investigate what's it take to kind of generate tests and validation rules for particular property types. You know what I mean? You know where I'm going with here? So let me
Not
give you an
really.
example. Let me give
Yeah,
you an
give me
example.
an example.
So, I like you, right? You're my brother, right? So I'm gonna show you some cool stuff, right?
Yeah,
You're a good guy, Mabruk. I really appreciate. I'm
no
glad we
problem.
found each other. I'll tell you
Me
that much.
too. Really.
Okay. So, so here's an example. Here's an example of a service. Let's go here into this. I was showing this to Paul Wardy yesterday. I don't know if you met Paul yet. He's a very nice guy as well.
Mhm.
There's just such good engineers everywhere. And here's an example. See this post service? Let's go in here. You see in here in this post service, if you were to generate something like this, right? You see validate post on ad. It goes and says for every single property, I need to run certain steps of validation. For instance, if this guy is a GUID, I need to go validate that this GUID is not empty. If the
Yeah,
property is, see, this is where it gets a little
yeah,
tricky, because
yeah,
how do you know what this model is, right?
yeah.
There's a way though. There's a way.
Generic types?
No, I think there's even a better way. I think if you had this UI screen that you just created,
Hmm.
in that UI screen, you allowed people to kind of add in the UI screen, the properties, or even better, you could do something like what Tim is doing. He's saying the only manual thing you have to do is the model, and I'll
Yeah.
take care of everything else for you. The only difference between you and him is that he's dynamically, he doesn't really generate code. Like the
Hmm.
code base stays the same no matter what happens. You
Yeah.
are going and saying, wait, no, it's not one size fits all. We're gonna have to kind of distinguish a little bit. He, in all honesty, what makes his project also interesting. He's up your neck of the woods. He's also in Germany. Tim, I
Oh,
should I
okay.
should meet you both together, but I should have you both talk to each other. But one of the things that he's doing is saying I can do exceptions for the rules, right? But in your
Hmm.
case, here's what I think. A long time ago, a long, long time ago, if you started an ASP.NET MVC project, and if you give that project a model, just the model, it will
Yeah.
generate the controllers and the entity framework for you.
Yeah.
But we wanna change that a little bit to generate standard compliant code, like something that applies to the standard, right?
Yeah.
How do we do that, right? I think, and I'm more than happy to explore that road with you because eventually we're gonna need to automate. Like
Mm.
I was talking to Paul yesterday. We talked for like 5 hours, literally five
Yeah.
hours and he has all these services that were created, and I could tell while he was talking, he's like, oh my god, I have to build all of these classes. I know it's the right thing to do. I just know, it's going to take a lot of work, right?
Yes.
The other challenge that I could think of is basically being able to go and say, I need this to be test driven, meaning that somehow your scaffolding is going to have to do a little bit of magic, meaning it's going to write a test and
Yeah.
it's going to run that test and it's going to make a commit that this test has failed, and then it's going to go back and create the code that makes that test pass, and then go back and commit that this test have passed. That's, if you reach that stage, that's
You know,
full automation to the standard.
it's it will be your code, so you can do anything you want with extensions.
That's right.
Anything you want.
i
So
wonder i wonder if these extensions, Mabrouk, if they allow us to kind of do git commits. Probably can, right? It's a script, right?
I think yes. I think maybe you need to add some NuGet packages or extensions, but
So you wanna
this
so you wanna
scaffold,
build a project to automate the standard. That's what you wanna do.
yeah,
Okay.
we can. I want to make a template, very big template. So you just click new project standard API,
Project.
and
Done.
you get your everything, broker services. Maybe you can use your DB context and everything will be off generated. This will be amazing. And I mean here also exceptions, validation.
Yep. It has to cover everything.
We say in Germany, alles drin.
What's that?
Everything inside.
Oh, all in one,
Inside.
one-stop shop. Here in America, they'll say one-stop shop for all things standard. I
Yeah,
love that. I love that idea. I
yeah,
think you and I should do, several sessions where we explore this option. I think, what do you want to call it? Do you want to call it, what do you want to call the project? I mean, it's your baby. I'm okay, whatever you want to call it.
yeah. I didn't think yet about the name.
I
I
think
was,
I think a good
yeah,
start is to find a name for it and
yeah,
then see if we can, at least it doesn't have to be like, I mean, ultimately, ideally, we want it to be 100% automation, but as you may understand, once you
mm,
start building processing services and orchestration services, you just can't automate that. And the reason for that is that it's very specific business logic. It
yeah,
differs.
yeah,
Like an orchestration service, if you watched what Paul and I were talking about yesterday, it has all kinds of, like once you step into processing services and orchestration services, you're actually building core, localized, specific business logic to the business, right?
yeah,
In some places, you might not need processing services at all. And in some other places, you might need to do an upsert. What happened to my camera? Hey, wait, hold on. When it gets blurry, it sends me like
Yeah.
the screen. So okay, so sometimes it basically says you need an upsert. Sometimes I'll show you a function that we just implemented in a processing service that is very, very specific to get file. Let me show you. So here's a function in here. This function, what it does, it says verify no changes, like only take action if the model has had some changes. Let me show you an example. Here's a processing services. This is get file. I don't know if you heard of this project, get file, but
No.
one of the things that we're doing here, look at this function. There's a function here that does verify file change. You can't generate that because it's not consistent. It doesn't happen every time. It goes and
Mm,
says that the profile change, if the profile was never added, then go ahead and add it. And if it doesn't, then check if it has changed. So it gets a little bit different in the at the level of the processing and orchestrations. But I'd love, love, love to automate foundation services and brokers with you.
yeah, we can do
Let's
it.
start there. Let's do that. And
Yeah,
I think these extensions you could publish them to Visual Studio Marketplace, right?
yeah. It's also not like the hard thing to publish them. It's easy to
It's
the
very easy.
community, sure. Yeah,
It's not that hard, right?
no.
So when you create an extension like this, you could go into, let's see here, Mabrouk. You're a very smart guy, right? You're a
Thank
good
you.
guy.
Not more
So
than you, but
uh, now you'd be surprised. But let's see, Visual Studio extensions
publish.
marketplace, right? So
Yeah,
if you go, so this is it. You go and publish it in here, and basically you go and say, I want that particular extension.
yeah.
And
Install it and
oh man, I've never even published an extension my whole life.
oh really?
Yeah, I have a lot of NuGet packages, but I don't publish extensions. So this will be a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
Do we need to do a lot of work when a new version of Visual Studio gets released, or does it does it kind of know how to adhere to that and all that kind of stuff?
I think when we now start with uh,
Mm.
V, you see my
Oh,
German.
David,
Yes.
David Fowler. Oh, he's a very
When
nice guy. I like him.
when we start with BS 22, I think we will not have problems for future.
Okay.
I mean, with migration.
Sounds good to
So
me. I think
yeah,
we can make this happen. There's all kinds of different extensions in this marketplace, and I think it's huge with productivity. It
yeah,
helps a lot with productivity. It'll help you kind of, there was an extension that I really liked a lot. It was published by the Azure group, and it basically helps you kind of review your code in real time from Visual Studio without having to go to GitHub, without having to go anywhere. I don't know
mm,
whatever happened. I don't know whatever happened to this project, but I think we could also take advantage of things like code snippets. So you can
e-
define a. Go ahead.
exactly. I want to say this. I now in this example I was using text files.
hmm
This is not like
It's not
the
it's not
best thing to
ideal.
do. Yeah, the idea is to use snippets. Yeah,
So you can
maybe we
actually
can.
use
Yeah,
snippets in your extension.
yeah.
Or did you want to use
And
snippets without the extension? Like,
this is will be
uh,
this will be my goal. Yeah,
I love it. I love
yeah,
it. Okay, then let's find some time, you and we will go
mm,
build a Visual Studio extension for the standard.
yeah,
And we can generate API,
yeah.
API control, API brokers, storage
Brokers,
brokers. You just enter the
services.
model name and boop, 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 just
Yeah,
generate everything for you.
and the nice thing also
Uh-huh.
that we can in this template,
Uh-huh.
the NuGet packages that we need, they will be
Uh-huh.
installed. So you don't
Oh,
have.
oh, it will go install NuGet packages for
Yeah,
you too.
yeah, yeah.
Bro, why you gotta do me like that? That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
that's,
it. I love it. Okay, then. I mean, I look forward to doing this with you. This is very promising. It'll allow
mm,
us kind of expedite the engineering process,
mm,
as long as, and this is always my case, as long as the code is being generated, as long as people still have the opportunity to kind of write the code by hand, because
yeah,
there's a big trade-off with automation. Like a lot of people came to me and they said, Hassan, why don't you do a style cup? And this
mm,
style cup will basically go and say, oh, if the indentation is not right, if you didn't test a particular thing, if the naming convention is not right,
mm,
go ahead and warn the engineer. I want the standard to be here. I don't want it to be in some extension or some,
yeah,
so it's okay to build like supporting, like we build libraries all the time, right? I'm okay
mm,
with that as long as people still keep in touch with building foundation services, because sometimes you still need that kind of knowledge, because sometimes you need to extend and include different properties and entities and all that kind of stuff.
mm.
So we want to make sure that that's there. Let's build an extension
Yeah,
together, okay?
we have the same opinion because I also don't use those libraries,
Yep.
and I like to like my notation should be made by me. And what I like to use from those libraries is what um, helps me to win time, to don't lose much of time, like copy paste. I don't like to copy paste from also from other projects if I
Hmm.
have some. So I use snippets. I use like those extensions to scaffold
Hmm.
um, things. But yeah, we need to write code to
We have
engineer.
to write code at
Yeah,
some point in time. I
yeah.
love it. I love
So
it. Let's
yeah,
let's explore this next time. Let's continue your POC and let's see if we can
hmm,
make GitHub commits to maintain
yeah.
the
This
test
is the
history.
point.
And
Yeah,
also, so there's something GitHub commits and being able to run the test. Like while you're scaffolding, you're creating a test and it's automatically running that unit test
yeah,
and verifying that it failed before it makes the commit and goes and generates the
yeah,
next and the next. You can do that with scripting so easy, but again, like generating files, like you can write like a PowerShell script, in C sharp, and
yeah,
what it's gonna do, it's gonna actually do all this generation. But I want to see this Visual Studio extension stuff. It's gonna make things so much easier,
yeah.
and I'm excited. Are you
Again,
excited?
yes, sure.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
What else are you planning to do with these extensions?
Mm, no, nothing else.
That's all. That's all. That's it.
That's all. Yeah,
Awesome. Let,
actually,
let's plan a
for
session
this.
next week and
Yeah,
see if we can. Let's plan a session next week and see if we can build something great together. Okay.
yeah, sure.
Okay,
You,
brother.
you can write me on Twitter or yeah,
Awesome. Thank you
yeah.
so much, Mabrouk. I appreciate you. Let's uh,
Thank
let's
you
keep this
too. Yeah,
going.
for the time.
Let's see. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
brother. I appreciate you. You take care. Okay. Assalamu
yeah,
alaikum. Take care.
yeah. So bye bye.